Japan is a country with many myths and magical stories. One myth tells the story of an evil fox called a kitsune. It took the form of a beautiful woman and wreaked havoc over Asia over the course of its nearly 4,000-year life. Her name is Tamamo no Mae. This is a dark story. Life in China. She first appears 3,500 years ago in the Chinese Shang dynasty. Little is known of her early life, other than the fact that she studied the dark arts of magic and became a powerful witch. Over time, her appearance changed to that of a kitsune. As time passed, so did her desire for power. She found her way to the king and hatched a plot to take the kingdom. Using her beauty to seduce him, she gained his trust. She became famous throughout the kingdom for her evil, lust, and interest in discovering new forms of torture. In the end, she was not successful in taking over the kingdom, but her influence caused the end of the Shang dynasty. Escape to India. Having escaped with her life, she ran away to the southern lands of India. There, she tried again, this time with the Indian king Hanzoku. The sad tale repeats itself there. She became close to the king and injected great evils into his life. Death and suffering were all he knew after killing priests and joining her in devouring children. This continued for a long time. She left and once again returned to her home, China. Return to China. The next 10 years played out exactly as you might expect. She found favor with the new king. The new king got rid of his wife, and the magical fox became the queen. In order to please her, he began committing horrible crimes against his people. Eventually, the people rise against him. The dynasty falls, and she escapes into the night. In this case, she escaped to Japan, the place her millennia-long reign of terror and evil would come to an end. Well, maybe. Escape to Japan. Once in Japan, the kitsune disguised herself as a baby and lay on the side of the road. She was picked up by two lovely peasants and taken care of through her childhood years. It was apparent to them that she was an intelligent and gifted child. She learned to read and loved reciting poetry. Her parents sent her to the king to let her read poetry to him. Charmed by the gifted child, he decided to allow her to stay. She spent her years in the court learning and gaining influence. She bided her time until she reached the age of 18 years old. Pleased by how she had grown, the king held a poetry recital in her honor. It was then that the next phase of her plan began. During the recital, the candles were suddenly snuffed out, leaving all the room in darkness. Cold and confusion echoed the halls, until, seemingly out of nowhere, a light emanated from the girl's body. They believed it to be a sign from God that she was a holy person. From that moment forward, the king kept her by his side at all times. The beginning of the end. As one could imagine, this is where things began to take a turn for the worst. The king started to get sick and did not seem to be recovering. He asked a priest to read his fortune. The results were shocking. The priest told him his sickness was the result of a curse, and that the source was the demon fox child he had raised in his court for the last 8 years. They attempted to catch her with a powerful spell, but at the last minute, the kitsune escaped. After days of mysterious disappearances near the court, the king sent his warriors out to kill her. Day after day, they attempted to catch her, but each time she managed to evade them. On the brink of despair, they slept for the night. One man had a strange dream. It was of a woman. The desperate figure appeared to him and cried, "Please save me. Tomorrow I will die." The prophecy came true. Finally, after thousands of years, the kitsune was pinned down on a large stone, her side pierced and bleeding from an arrow shot by the man she had spoken to in the dream. Her blood sinking into the earth, they finished the job and left. With nowhere else to go, Tamamonome's spirit sank into the stone, cursing it with death to anyone who touched it. It would forever be known as the Death Stone. The story ends here, or at least it did until March 2022. All on its own, the Death Stone cracked in half. The seal that bound Asia's most infamous kitsune was broken. Some say this is just a story. Others say her spirit is once again free to wander the earth. Only time will tell.